Well, here I am, 7:30 on a Thursday morning, and I'm back at the airport. This week I'm headed back to Perth, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to do the walk on the garden about in Perth, um, but I'm going to have a look around and see if I can find something that's brand new to me, so that I can have a new experience while I do this. Anyway, here I go. 4.5 hour flight ahead of us, I guess. But it's all fine. It'll be fine. I quite enjoy the chance to disconnect while I'm in the air. Not that you can these days because of Wi-Fi, but anyway, you can use that as an excuse. All right, well, here I go, and I'm actually pretty excited about it. 4 days I'm going to be in Perth this time, and looking forward to catching up with friends over there. So talk to you soon.
Safe journey.
G'day, I'm Roland Hearn, and this is a walk in the garden. Going a little old school today. I realised when I got here that I had forgotten my selfie stick and my microphone and cables, so I'm just going to do the best I can. Let's see how it goes. Well, here I am at the Serpentine waterfalls, and they are just up the path here. I'll show you that in a couple of seconds. There is supposed to be a nice bushwalking trail around here that I saw on the map, and so I'm looking for that. I haven't found it yet, but one way or another, I'll finish off my walk in the garden here in this beautiful space. The Serpentine Falls are on the Serpentine River, and they flow out of the Darling Plateau, and have been a place of recreation for a long time, 100 years or something. So this is quite a beautiful park, and very well set out. It did cost me $15 to get in, which I was not expecting, but I guess the tremendous facilities they supply here, and good solid path and fences and everything, I guess that costs money. Look at how clear that is. Beautiful. This is very inviting. Well, it looks like there might be a bit of a trail up this way. Certainly there'll be enough for me to get my walk in the garden video done for this week. What a gorgeous space this is. You know, there are times when you just have to stop and enjoy the incredible beauty of the world in which we live. Life is just not long enough to get it all in, is it? But this is amazing, and I'm looking forward to seeing where I can get to. Let me just address an issue that becomes prominent in my mind on trips like this. People often comment when I'm doing a lot of traveling that it must be hard to do that all the time. Obviously, there are some significant advantages or joys, is a much better way of saying it, significant joys attached to the reality in which I live. Being able to come to places like this and to be in the beautiful city of Perth is certainly one of them. My travel schedule for the next couple of weeks is quite intense, and I am looking forward to the vast majority of it. But of course, there is one issue that is always a struggle when I'm traveling in spaces like this, and that is loneliness. It's great when I'm with groups of people and doing things with people. I love that, and sitting down having chats with people just really is a wonderful blessing. But at nights and at the meal times that I'm on my own, and I just want to talk to my wife or to my kids or even to my puppy, I do feel a sense of loneliness. It's not overwhelming. It doesn't. It certainly doesn't stop me from doing this job, and it doesn't take the shine off the travel at all. But there are moments when I'm enjoying something or sitting still at the end of the day or um, just on my own. And I think, oh dear, I'd love to have Emmy with me, or I'd love to be able to see my kids' reaction to this. And a spark of loneliness comes. And just like failure, loneliness can be one of those vehicles that shame rides in on. The truth is that for me, it's very rarely associated with shame, because I'm always able to recognize the time frame involved until when I'll see my family again, or um, be home in my own space again, and I'm able to focus on that, and it's not too much of an issue. But there are certainly times when after prolonged periods of time, I start to question um, my worth, question whether I'm making a difference, question whether I've made the best choices in life, reflect back across the years as they've unfolded for me, and wonder if uh, my life has had significance. And that seems to happen a whole lot more uh, after I have been alone for a period of time, and perhaps at the end of the day, and I've got no one to talk to, I haven't spoken to anyone for a while, my mind can certainly move in that direction. And I know people that struggle with extraordinary amounts of loneliness and emptiness. What typically happens is if we are in prolonged isolation or loneliness, is we create mental barriers to that pain, because you just can't endure it for extended periods of time. And so we try and protect ourselves from it. But that is our response to the questions of the validity of our life that comes along with loneliness. And living with overwhelming loneliness is a torture for some people to bear. The reason is because loneliness directly reflects on our relational state. Um, to feel loneliness is to feel like I do not have any relationships, and therefore my life is not of great value. It's not of great worth. And so loneliness, not being alone, but loneliness, is constantly feeding into our thoughts that that we don't deserve relationships, or we're not worth relationships. And so once those feelings begin, it becomes very important to process them and to recognize them what they are. Loneliness is a product of our desire to be loved and to be in a context of love, and the feelings that is associated with not being in that context, and that directly connects to our worth. It's probably one of the most compelling cases that love and worth are two sides of the same coin. It is hard to feel lonely and feel valuable. And of course, the solution to loneliness isn't easy to find, because you directly recognize, or we directly recognize, that the actual solution to loneliness is to find love. But we are lonely because we are not in the space of love. And short-term loneliness, like I experience, is a direct result of the absence of the love that I crave from my family. But if I am, or if anyone is in a space where they are perpetually lonely, it does come from that space of not being able to find love effectively anywhere, not that reaches the depth of our being and communicates our worth to us. And it is in that space, with that understanding, that again, we're able to see that we are created for love, that we are a being that exists with our highest priority to experience love. That is, for me, where God's love becomes so compellingly important. The emotion of loneliness, and the mental state of loneliness, ultimately is most effectively addressed when at the core of our being, at the place where we know who we really are, we become aware that the God of love loves and values us at that place, and to walk into a relationship with God that allows his love to operate at that point becomes so incredibly important for us. And so the walk in the garden that I have been on for all of these months, and has continuously come back to this space of relationship with God, compels me to understand and to articulate just how important it is to experience that love and grace of God. And we do that simply by opening our hearts and our minds to that love, becoming, putting ourselves in a place where we can experience that love through faith, accepting it, and then placing ourselves into a dynamic or a context where we are with people that are able to reflect that love to us. So this journey in the garden, this walk in the garden, is perpetually going to come back to that place of God's love as the ultimate solution for the struggles of humanity that become the vehicles through which shame works into our life. And it's impossible to walk in the garden and not come to that place. And so the invitation from the very beginning has been to come and walk with me and take this journey and see where it leads. But it always leads back to this space. It always leads to the place of love being the adequate response for our shame, and that God and God's love is the source, the ultimate source of the kind of love that heals our lives of shame. So my encouragement to you is that you would keep walking in your garden and discover that kind of love. And until we get together again next week, I invite you to see where God's love can work in your life and respond to the places of your deepest shame. If God's love is not responding to our shame, what effectively is going to? So that's the journey, that's the walk, and I ask that you might continue to walk in your garden with me as we discover that love. Well, this is what I was looking for, the Baldwin's Bluff walking trail. Yeah, they say it's quite arduous and can take up to 3 hours. So let's see how we do. I'm a little bit buoyed by my walk last week, so maybe I'm a little overconfident. It's 6 kilometres, but the sign says it's a lot steeper than well, the sign says it's steep, so therefore I'm imagining it's more steep than the one I was on last week. But let's see how we go.